Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of DD Talk, where we delve deep into the minds of the most iconic figures of our time. Today, we have a very special guest, a legend in his own right, the enigmatic frontman of the Doors, Jim Morrisson.
Jim, it's truly an honor to have you here with us today. Your music has left an indelible mark on generations, and your presence continues to captivate audiences worldwide. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Jim, let's start at the beginning. The Doors burst onto the music scene in the 1960s, during a time of immense cultural change and upheaval. What do you believe it was about your music that resonated so deeply with audiences during that era?
I think the Doors' music spoke to the essence of human experience. We weren't afraid to explore the darker aspects of existence, of the fears, the desires, the passions that lie dormant within us all. Our music was a mirror reflecting the tumultuous spirit of the times, and I believe people connected with that raw authenticity.
Your lyrics often touched upon themes of rebellion, freedom, and existential angst. Did you see yourself as a voice for the counterculture movement of the 1960s?
In a way, yes. This were a time of immense social and political unrest, and the Doors emerged as a soundtrack for those who felt disillusioned by the status quo. We challenged the norms, both musically and lyrically, and I think that resonated with the youth of that generation who were seeking something more profound than the superficialities of mainstream culture.
Your on-stage persona was often described as magnetic and unpredictable. How much of that was a deliberate performance, and how much was the real Jim Morrisson shining through?
It's a blend of both, I suppose. On stage, I allowed myself to tap into the primal energies that simmer beneath the surface. It was a form of catharsis, an opportunity to shed the constraints of everyday life and embrace the untamed spirit within. But at the same time, there was an authenticity to it. I didn't believe in putting on a facade for the sake of entertainment. What you saw on stage was a reflection of my innermost truths, however tragic they may have been.
Your lyrics often contained elements of poetry and mysticism, leading many to view you as a modern-day shaman or poet-prophet. Did you see yourself in that light?
I've always been drawn to the power of language, of the way words can shape reality, evoke emotions, and transcend the boundaries of ordinary perception. Poetry, for me, is a means of accessing deeper truths, of peeling back the layers of illusion that shroud our existence. So in that sense, yes, I suppose you could say I saw myself as a conduit for the mystical forces that permeate the universe.
Jim, talk about concept of love, a recurring theme in your music and poetry. What does love mean to you, both personally and artistically?
Love is a primal force that binds us all together, the universal language that transcends time and space. Personally, it's a source of inspiration and solace, a reminder of our shared humanity amidst the chaos of existence. Artistically, it's a wellspring of creativity, a muse that fuels my lyrics and melodies, infusing them with depth and passion.
Your lifestyle has often been described as unconventional, characterized by a blend of hedonism, introspection, and artistic exploration. How do you reconcile the dichotomy between fame and the pursuit of personal truth?
It's a delicate balance, to be sure. Fame can be a double-edged sword. It offers validation and adulation, but it also brings scrutiny and expectation. For me, the key has always been to remain true to myself, to follow my own path, regardless of external pressures or opinions. That means embracing the highs and lows of fame with equanimity, staying grounded in the present moment, and never losing sight of what truly matters in life.
Beyond music, what are some of your hobbies and interests? How do you unwind and find inspiration outside of the spotlight?
I've always been drawn to the written word, poetry, literature, philosophy. There's a certain magic in language, a power to evoke emotions and provoke thought that resonates deeply with me. When I'm not performing or recording, you'll often find me lost in a book or scribbling away in my journal, exploring the depths of consciousness and the mysteries of existence. It was an otherworldly experience, to say the least. There's a primal energy that surges through you when you're out there on stage, the adrenaline, the euphoria, the sense of communion with the crowd. It's like tapping into a collective consciousness, channeling the raw emotion of the moment into something transcendent. Each performance was a journey unto itself, a chance to lose myself in the music and become one with the cosmic dance of existence.
The controversial lyrics from Peace Frog, specifically the line "Indians scattered all over the highway, bleeding to death." What inspired those words, and how do you respond to critics who interpret them as culturally insensitive?
Eavesdrop was a reflection of the turbulent times in which we lived, a snapshot of the social and political unrest that permeated the city. The imagery of Indians scattered all over the highway was meant to evoke the sense of displacement and injustice experienced by indigenous peoples throughout history. It was a symbolic statement, not meant to diminish or trivialize their suffering, but rather to shine a light on the systemic injustices that continue to plague our society. As for the critics, I welcome their scrutiny. Art should provoke thought and challenge conventions, and if my lyrics inspire dialogue and introspection, then I consider that a success.
Your appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1967 is the stuff of legend, with tensions running high between the band and the show's producers over the lyric "Girl, we couldn't get much higher" from "Light My Fire." Can you walk us through what happened behind the scenes and the aftermath of that fate?
Yes, the Ed Sullivan Show debacle. It was a clash of cultures, if you will, of conservative establishment, butting heads with the rebellious spirit of rock and roll. The producers were adamant about censoring a line in the song, fearing it would incite controversy, but we refused to compromise our artistic integrity. And when the time came to perform, I sang those words loud and clear. Needless to say, it didn't sit well with Mr. Sullivan and his cohorts. We were banned from the show, but in hindsight, it only added to our mystique and cemented our reputation as renegades of the music industry.
Your appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1967 is the stuff of legend, with tensions running high between the band and the show's producers over the lyric "Girl, we couldn't get much higher" from "Light My Fire." Can you walk us through what happened behind the scenes and the aftermath of that fate?
You had in the night of the infamous arrest. It was a perfect storm of tension and chaos. The crowd was unruly, the energy palpable. I was feeding off that raw emotion, channeling it into the performance. But somewhere along the way, things took a dark turn, words were exchanged, tempers flared, and before I knew it, the police were storming the stage, accusing me of inciting a riot. It was a surreal moment, being dragged off in handcuffs, but in a strange way, it encapsulated the spirit of the Doors: the defiance, the unpredictability, the refusal to be tamed.
The Miami concert incident of 1969. What transpired that fateful night at the Dinner Key Auditorium, and how did it lead to your arrest and imprisonment?
Miami night etched in infamy. It was a convergence of factors: the frenzied energy of the crowd, the intoxicating allure of rebellion, and perhaps a touch of my own recklessness. As the performance unfolded, tension simmered, and at some point I found myself caught in the throes of the moment, unleashing a torrent of raw emotion and provocative gestures. The authorities deemed it indecent exposure and public obscenity, and before I knew it, I was facing charges that would ultimately shape the trajectory of my life and career.
The Miami incident undoubtedly had a profound impact on your personal and professional life. Looking back, how do you navigate the legacy of that tumultuous night, and what lessons have you gleaned from the experience?
It was a watershed moment, a collision of art and reality, freedom and consequence. In its aftermath, I grappled with the weight of notoriety, the scrutiny of the media, and the consequences of my own actions. But amidst the chaos, I discovered a newfound clarity of recognition of the power and responsibility that come with wielding influence. It forced me to confront my own demons, to reckon with the darker aspects of my psyche, and to embrace a path of greater introspection and self-awareness.
Let's shift gears and delve into your relationship with Pamela Corson, a central figure in your life and muse to many of your songs. What drew you to Pamela, and how did she influence your artistry and personal growth?
Emma was a force of nature, a free spirit, who defied convention, and embraced life with an unbridled passion. From the moment we met, there was an instant connection, a meeting of kindred souls bound by a shared love of music, poetry, and adventure. She was my confidant, my muse, my partner in crime, a constant source of inspiration and support throughout the highs and lows of my career. Together, we navigated the tumult of fame and the complexities of love, forging a bond that transcended time and space.
Your family played a significant role in shaping your identity and artistic sensibilities. Can you share with us some insights into your upbringing and the impact your family dynamics had on your journey as a musician and poet?
My family was my foundation, a tapestry of love, dysfunction, and unspoken truths. Growing up, I was exposed to a myriad of influences, from my father's military background to my mother's passion for literature and the arts. It was a dichotomy of order and chaos, discipline and rebellion, that laid the groundwork for my own creative evolution. Despite the complexities of our relationships, there was an underlying bond, of shared legacy of resilience and creativity that continues to resonate in my work to this day.
Wise words indeed. Jim, it's been an absolute privilege speaking with you today. Your legacy will continue to reverberate through the annals of musical history for generations to come. Thank you for sharing your insights with us.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you for having me.